Greetings. This is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about how working with magic helped me to liberate myself from depression and other negative mind frames that I was stuck in for years. So, believe it or not, before this whole magic stuff and YouTube and all this good fun business, I was a shy person. I was pretty confused, pretty lost, I would say, and very depressed. I didn't know what my purpose in life was. I didn't know why I was even existing. I'd wake up every day and, I just beat myself up. Ask myself, why do I even exist? What's the point? I don't have any friends, nobody loves me, I'm not appreciated. And, I'm sure that these thought forms came from somewhere. But the important thing is that they were in my head consistently. It was very difficult to focus on anything because I didn't see the importance. I didn't see the importance of being alive, right? I didn't see the importance of, doing well in school. I didn't see the importance of focusing or accomplishing anything. So I didn't really do as much in my life, I suppose, as some other people have done when you want to compare. And that's another symptom of staying in depression, is constantly comparing yourself to other people and other people's achievements. Not really the best way to go. But in any case, being pretty sad and depressed, I easily found myself locked into a cycle of alcoholism where I would drink constantly, consistently, right? To escape the feelings of being sad and feeling worthless, right? To kind of fill up this empty hole with alcohol. It got to the point where I was drunk often, or at least it was very rare for me to be sober. Every single day I'd be drinking alcohol. Every single day. Didn't matter if I was at work, going to church, didn't matter. Always intoxicated. And that actually caused a lot more problems, right? Because people would lose respect, I would lose job opportunities, school opportunities, career opportunities, friends, family members. It just continued the cycle of maintaining depression. So really, towards the end of all that, as I began to really lose more and more control over my life, I know that I've always been interested in religion and spirituality and the occult. So over the years, I did amass a pretty good library of different books and different subjects and experiences. Well, once things got to the point where I really felt like I was losing most everything, that's when I turned to the Goetia. Right, first I turned to the Clip-Off, and I attempted to do some shadow working there. I didn't know it was called shadow working or whatever, but yeah. At first it seemed that was making it worse, because after doing these rituals with the Clip-Off, a lot of things in my life began to fall apart even more. So after a while of giving up magic and art and music completely, once I got a little bit more secure and stable, I began working with the Goetia, and I really wanted to fix things in my life. And as I began to take it seriously, I began to notice that things around me began to change. I began to notice that because I threw my whole attention and my whole focus into working with the Goetia and understanding how these spirits and how these energies worked, my mind shifted from focusing on the negative, right? I no longer focused on what I wasn't doing and what I wasn't accomplishing and how bad things were. I started focusing now on my results. I started focusing on getting better at handling the magic and handling the spirits and learning as much as I could to get better results. I began focusing now on improving myself, right? Unbeknownst to me at the time. And I also began to notice, as I got more and more results with working with the Goetic spirits, that sometimes the things that I kept in my head as far as deficiencies or ego complexes or just, little petty things, I noticed that they began to filter through my results and my spell work. So naturally, what that began to indicate to me was, in order to get better results with my magic, I need to work on myself. I need to work on the things that are causing me to act out of emotion, causing me to act petty, right? And as I began to meditate more and more, I began to see the things that were pushing me to act a certain way. I began to see the things that were forcing me to act a certain way. When I'd get upset, right, or when I'd be attached to something, I'd notice that I'd be doing more magic towards those things. And even though I was getting results in the short term, in the long term, it was actually perpetuating a cycle, cause and effect. Because I was doing this magic with a seed of emotionalism, I'd get a result of emotionalism, and it would continue. So doing this for years, it began to help to hone my intentions and hone my purpose, right? I began to see that in order to do effective magic, I needed to work on myself consistently so that the little things like emotions wouldn't get in the way of my study. Because also when you're emotional and you're attached to a certain outcome and a certain thing, certain petty human small thing, when you do your study, it's going to filter out the important stuff and only look for something to solve your emotional human problem. So I guess to really get back to the point, as I began to turn my focus away from how horrible I thought my life was, I began to focus more on my study and bettering myself and sharpening my mind and focusing on getting better results. And then one day when I just looked back, I realized, hey, I'm not suddenly crying over something stupid. I'm not getting drunk every night just so I don't have to deal with the pain, right? I'm not feeling all heartbroken because some girl didn't return my emotional advances, right? I'm not feeling miserable and sad because, I don't have enough money to pay for this, that, and the third. I now feel empowered because I realize all these problems that I used to have were because of my mindset, because I believed that I was subject to those problems, right? Now I found something that can help me channel my energy and my focus to achieve the results that I want. Instead of crying that I don't have a girlfriend, I know how to get one. Instead of crying that I don't have enough money, I know how to get it. Instead of feeling afraid and threatened when someone attempts to attack me, I know how to deal with that now. And it's not because I have an arsenal of magic spirits that do things for me. It's because I've come to a point in my life that I realize that every problem in my life is caused by my thinking. Therefore, every solution in my life will be caused by my thinking. See, the Goetic system or any other occult system is just a system that teaches you how to harness your own energy and channel it in effective ways on purpose. What I've learned from reading this book, Psychastra, that we're talking about a lot lately in the Magus Society, is that the book in itself does sound kind of out there if you take it from a literal scientific standpoint. But what's actually going on in this book and all of Frank Rudolph Jung's books like Cyclomancy and the other one about mind power is that what the subconscious mind communicates through symbols. So this book is showing you a system of symbols to focus your energy and your attention on so that you can properly learn how to work with your astral body. How it talks about over and over again the connection that your mind navel has, right? The silver cord that attaches you to your astral body. The book over and over references this. And that's because in the stomach is the chakra center that harnesses your energy and your willpower. And this center is what attaches to your astral body because the astral body is the energetic center, right? Your will. So by visualizing this mind-navel link to your astral body, what you're actually doing is learning how to move your attention and your energy through that section of your body because it's the easiest way to connect with your spirit. Again, to get to the point of this video, by studying magic and by practicing magic in the occult, as a byproduct, I've healed my mind and I'm in the process of healing my mind. And that in turn is healing my life, solving the problems that I've had. That I find that most of the problems that I had were in here. They were due to belief systems, right? Waking up every day telling myself that I'm worthless, that no one loves me, that I'm lonely, that I'm ugly, this, that, and the third. What do you think that produces? That perpetuates a cycle of negativity and depression. But now I've learned how important affirmations were. I've learned how important it is to speak into your life that which you want. Even if it doesn't look that way, it's important to speak that way, to cultivate the mind energy, to make this happen, to perpetuate positivity growing over and over again. So as I speak the mantra for these spirits to appear, I'm also understanding that to feed my own spirit, I need to speak positive mantras to myself. No one's gonna sit here and tell me how important and how powerful I am. And even if they do, I'm not gonna believe it. I have to tell myself that, and I have to accept that, just like you have to tell yourself that, and you have to accept that. The reason I'm making this video is really because Spirit has prompted me to make it, but I feel like right now is a real important time, a real pivotal time for people to get on board with this energy. There's a lot of us who are kind of lagging behind because we feel like something's holding us back, whether it's our emotions or people around us. But I think as we move closer and closer to the future, we need to pay more attention to what we're allowing our authority to be in. Are we allowing other people to have authority over us? Or are we really taking the time and doing the work to gain authority over ourselves? Because if you're still locked in a situation where you're unhappy, really take a look at it and see what you can do right now to start the process of flipping that around. Because I'm here to tell you there are so many people who were depressed and who are no longer depressed because they took action to fix that. No one makes you depressed. It may be a chemical imbalance, or it may be something that happened to you in the past. But in any case, it is an energy signature that you can transmit yourself out of. All energy can be transmuted from one thing to another. Mental transmutation. You'll find all about that in the Kabbalion. But if you're feeling depressed, know that there is a way to change that. And it starts with your thoughts. It starts with your thoughts. I've done it. I have done it. I have been depressed for over a decade, right? I have been an alcoholic for over a decade. But in seriously focusing on developing myself and developing my energies and doing the things that I want to do to get what I want, I find as a byproduct of focus and positive manifestation from positive affirmations, I find that as a byproduct of doing those things, the depression has dissolved. Because I've literally raised my frequency. Just like you are doing if you're doing the work. You're raising your frequency. And the frequency is how frequently you're thinking and doing a certain thing. Right? If you want to get on the frequency of a football player, you're playing, studying, and absorbing football information all the time. Right? Look, I don't think that there's any real reason that anyone should really feel powerless and helpless. It's all perspective. Attention is the currency that drives the world. So where is your attention? You have power over your environment and over your circumstance. You just got to take a hold of that power and use that power. And it may not happen overnight. You may be in a situation where you have to rely on other people who are very negative and holding you down and, speaking ill into your life all the time. You may be in that situation, but there is a way out. You just have to start now, visualizing a future where you're not a part of this situation anymore, and work on the steps in between. Work on the steps that you can plan out and do and form a system of getting out of that situation. Planning, right? And then executing that plan. It may take a year, but you can do it. You just gotta focus. You gotta be serious about it and change the thoughts that you're thinking every day. So yeah, this is how magic and the occult and the Goetia has really saved me and taken me out of depression and alcoholism, right? Because it taught me how to think better and taught me how to think in a position of being powerful, in a position of being in control versus being a victim and being locked in victim mentality. I was able to transition from victim mentality to an empowered mentality. And you can do the same thing too. Easy. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to sell your soul. Just change your thoughts. That's all. This is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. I love you guys. And as always, peace.